All right, welcome back. Got a shipment in from Urban EDC Supply. Just opened it off camera, confirm what it was. But very excited to get this one in. First time, Divo Knives. Very exciting. Something that I've been kind of keeping an eye on, but hadn't watched any reviews on, hadn't learned much about. But this is the aluminum infused carbon black fiber Blackwash. Ooh, that is a mouthful. And the stout. I don't think I even said it was the stout. So the stout with that particular variation. First impression, a cool sticker. If you're not seeing that, I think you can. Very cool sticker. So nice packaging, nice box, and really nice pouch. I think that's one of the nicer pouches I've seen aside from like a Medford. Ooh, look at that. This is, okay, Civivi gives you this. no knock on Civivi. Thank you for the, for the cleaner from them too, but wow, that is substantial. So that's, like, in fact, let's do them a solid here, since they did me a solid. We'll go ahead and lay that out for this video. That's kind of fun. Throw their sticker up there. Now, one of the things that's funny about this particular knife, and again, wow, really nice leather case there, is the name. It's one word, shark spoon. And you can read that as shark spoon or shark spoon, however you like, but kind of a funny thing. That's unusual. So this not only comes with, it looks like maybe the carry clip is not on there from the factory. No, it is. Huh. Oh, maybe it's a lefty? No. I mean, I gotta look at this, but an extra carry clip, extra pivot bearing hardware, extra bearings, which are really nice bearings looking, by the way. Really nice looking bearings. Standoffs, hardware, like that's like lifetime maintenance kit. So that's cool. Never seen that before, I don't think. It is really nice material in here too. So yeah, this is impressive. Impressive first impression for sure. Let's get this out of here. And the first thing I notice is it's a really nice size. Of course, I'm biased, but really nice size. Very similar to the Demko. And I have, modified Demko here. Let me maybe pull out an unmodified one. Let's do a comparison against this carbon fiber one. That's actually a really great comparison here. I like the carry clip a lot more. Some people don't love the wire carry clips. I personally love them. This one's a little stronger than I was expecting, but the one on the Spyderco, for instance, is like one of the easiest on and off carry clips I've ever felt. So I personally really like the wire carry clip. Stylistically, I'm not sure if it's, I think with this all black finish one, it looks pretty darn good. This is black washed finish. So size-wise, in fact, let's pull out a measuring tape on this one. I don't normally do that on this channel. Like my channel is more about my impression of the knives versus like a 100% education channel, like you might see out there with Metal Complex or Knives Knives. Some of those guys are total gurus at this stuff. I'm not so much. Let's go ahead and we'll just reduce some of the clutter here and get down to brass tacks. But let's get these measured up by comparison. So Demko 80-20.5. Gosh, that is just, there's, and I love this, this like, liner lock, or maybe call it like a, well, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but, inlaid liner lock or whatever you want to call it. It's like benefits of a frame lock and a liner lock in one. Man, that is pretty. Like I'm having trouble even getting to open the knife because this thing is just really cool looking. So I love the size. Let's see if we have success on the first deployment. It's a reverse flick, so we'll see. Oh, sweetie. Now, I don't like the cosmetics of this as much. I don't know why they dropped that down there. I kind of wish that was a straight line all the way to the top, but it is cool and it's unique, and I give people points for doing something a little different. And man, I think what it is actually is that this up here makes it much easier to use. The Demko one's not bad, but it's like I don't get the authority on the Demko one that I was getting here. Oh, that is sweet action too. Look at that from the factory. Sweet. Oh man, that is possibly the best reverse flick experience I've ever had on a knife. I'm trying to think of one that's better. I don't think I can. I mean, the Microtech Annex is the only thing that is even close, but it's not as good. Like, this is a way more consistent model. So I'm gonna do my best here to measure this accurately. Just over 7.5 inches. It's like, call it, it's like 7 3/8, maybe 7 1/4 versus 7 3/8, I'd say. It's just a tad shorter than a Demko if you're familiar. Let's pull out some other familiar knives for you folks. The classic measurable measure comparison in the Rat 1 and Rat 2. So just a little bigger than the Rat 2 and just a little bit smaller than the Rat 1. And we will pull out the full-size Bugout, which is almost the exact same size in the Bugout Mini. It's definitely thicker. Like, that is the thing that I will say here, is that is a thick knife. Very, like, this is not 100% carry focused knife. That is for sure. But it is probably pretty good. I wonder what the weight is on it. Let's go with the weight. Is there anything else I want to compare it to? Oh, here we go. I got a pair of 3 here, which also, by the way, is a great reverse flick knife, but not nearly as good based on my 2 minutes of experience here with this stout from Divo. Wow, I can't believe people aren't talking about this knife like all the time. This thing is sweet. So it's a bit longer than the Spyderco and a bit thicker on the handle there. It's like the blade stock thickness, kind of similar, but stays wider way out towards the tip. And versus the Demko, very, very similar. I've seen a ton of parallels to the Demko, a bit of a longer blade and a bit of a shorter handle. Let's see if I got those lined up right. Longer blade, shorter handle, which a lot of people would argue is a good trade-off. Balance point is pretty darn intuitive. Feel in the hand is good, aside from my just immediately, maybe I just grabbed it funny. Yeah, no, it feels good. Feels really good in the hand, actually. A really nice choke up point, like probably one of the most intuitive and easiest choke up points I've ever felt. Really easy for the draw cut. Oh man, this is exactly what I was hoping it was going to be, which is the first knife for me that competes with the Demko. Now, you lose some of the fidgetiness. You can wheel it open really easily. I'm like really uncomfortable doing a thumb flick, but like on a slot, but I gotta say this one does make it very easy. So thumb flick is good. The reverse flick's the best one I've ever felt. It's just hands down. Like, I'm almost to the point where I'm like feeling like an automatic kind of pressure when I'm hitting. It's like coming open with so much authority. So that is sweet. Oh man, I'm so excited about this knife. So what do these go for? There are some different versions, I think ranging between like $279 or $289 and $299. Urban EDC tends to run some pretty good sales on their website, so check that out. And they do like this little thing where you can like spin a thing and get a discount and whatnot. So they do a pretty good job of trying to get you a good price on it. Now here's the thing is, I don't know, like, it doesn't say much about it. Oh, by the way, M390 blade, which is super cool. I don't know if this is, I imagine this has to be made in China or something, but I don't know for sure if it's Taiwan, China. There's nothing here indicating that, and I didn't do a lot of research on that ahead of time. I feel like these are the three kind of most comparable here, so, you know, both price-wise, you're talking about a pretty big variance. You're talking 160 MSRP, 265, I think, on Knife Center for the carbon, and 299 in this variation. Again, probably get it for a little less with their deals that they run. But man, what a, and I guess you could certainly compare it to a $150, you know, Grivery Demko as well. But then I've, you know, dropped a couple bucks into the carry clip to try and get into the deep carry. Sweet knife. Let's take a look at the edge. Factory edge is sweet. The Demko, I do like the tip a little more, how they do it. You can see mine's got some damage on it, thanks to a little incident with a chainsaw and trying to do a cool picture. If you haven't seen that picture yet, I took down a 50, 60 foot tree, and then after I cut all the rounds, I put the knife into the stump and banged it against a chainsaw and jacked up the tip of my knife. But boy, it's really good. This is by far my favorite carry knife, and this is what really attracted me to this knife. This, folks, is really good. Now, you don't have the, you know, the shark lock has its thing, right? You can't do that with any other, I mean, there's like a couple, like the Wii, what's it called? The Wii, just forgot the name of it, but there's a Wii model that has something like this, although it kind of pulls out. But I'm forgetting the name of it right now. So the deployment, you know, you still got to give the points to but man, the reverse flick on this is just so good. It just does exactly what you tell it to. And the size for the finger is really nice. Like, I always feel like, you know, slots are oftentimes too small. In the case of the Spyderco, not knocked down enough. Like, I always feel like I'm losing pieces of fingernail when I'm doing it. That is just sweet. And then drop shut from the factory. And it can be done with a thumb too. Anytime, here's the thing I don't like about using a slot and a thumb, is your thumb goes down past the cut line. You can see my thumb sticking out here. That means as I bring it out, I have to pull it back out of the cut line. And granted, that's the case with the Spidey Flick as well, but what's my finger naturally do? It naturally goes out of the cut line. Your thumb could go any sort of direction, right? So that to me is a less comfortable deployment than this. And honestly, this is a better deployment anyways, if you think about it, like, for so many reasons. This puts you right in a position as the knife opens to, like, come back and grab it. This can put you in all sorts of weird positions. So although a thumb stud is like one of the most popular and famous and, you know, used methods, and some companies, like, for instance, I think this Wii Banter is probably the best example of a thumb stud, and I normally have to use my fingernail because of the way my hands work. I can do that in, like, this is probably the best all-around deploying thumb stud type knife that I have and that I've worked with. You can do it this way, this way, this way. Like, this is just a sweetie. The Wii Banter is probably the best at that sort of format. I mean, honestly, the Hogue Deca is right in there, but it's a little different. And then plus you have the, you know, the ability to do that too if you want to. So this one's, the Hogue Deca is a little better than the Benchmade to me in terms of its ability to deploy. So that's also a really good one. Plus you get Magna Cut, which is something to be said for. But M390, so that's part of the price here, right? You got an M390 blade, you know, 265, you're in a 3V. That's, you're kind of materials wise. You've got a beautiful carbon aluminum inlaid handle. Let me get a nice close-up on this knife. It is called the Infused Carbon Fiber Backwash handle. Oh, aluminum infused carbon fiber backwash handle. let's give this its own platform here. It deserves it because it is just a beautiful, beautiful knife. Bear with me one sec, and we will get this thing out here. All right. So get a little close-up action. I'm gonna try and catch some sunlight in this because it is, there you can see it there, huh? That is freaking sweet. This is one of my favorite knives I've ever bought. Like, I remember feeling this way about the Demko when I first got it in hand. I was like, probably not even quite on this level because the fit and finish on this is definitely a step up in terms of beauty and stuff, I'd say. Not necessarily in terms of like quality, but in terms of beauty. So yeah, I'm feeling good about this one. I splurged and have a stonewash one version coming too, so that video will be up soon. But really the only negatives from like a pocket perspective would be like the width of this. Oh, sorry, let me get the blade first before I move on. You know, my mind of madness here is always going to the next thing, losing track of what's going on. Get this cleaned off real quickly. Did come with a little, I think, preservation oil on it or something like that. So let me get that off of there. Having a little trouble getting the exact showing of this Blackwash finish. Everything's knocked down really nicely on this blade, by the way. Feels really good in hand. And I don't buy, if you've seen on the channel, I don't buy a lot of, you know, DLC or, you know, Blackwashed finishes. But this thing, way that the colors went from the handle, and I actually like this one more than the stonewash. I like the stonewash blade more because when you're using your blade, I don't like really where it gets and stuff, but the stonewash doesn't look as good to me as this blackwashed. I just got to go through it one more time. Like, I can just say that this is one of the coolest looking knives in terms of what I like. There's a lot of people that like Timascus and all sorts of other stuff, but in terms of my aesthetic appeal, this is one of the coolest looking knives I've ever handled. I'll bring it back this way so it's right side up. So I'm really excited. Now, it's not the fit and finish of a Rockstead, right? But we're not talking about the same price point. It's not as wild as a Medford, but again, different price, different kind of goal. This is designed to be a phenomenal, beautiful, everyday carry knife. Let me go in a bit closer on this one now. Get you a really nice view here. Just a really nice everyday carry knife that I think many people are going to resonate with, whether it's this blackwashed version or the stonewashed version. This is modern 2022 knives to me. This really epitomizes what most people want in a knife. So I'm excited, one, to have it, but also just excited that a company was able to pull it off, because this, you know, it's like you read my mind. Let's take a quick look and see if I can find some paper. I just want to test the edge really quickly on it. Just see how that is out of curiosity. So we're going to come back up here. Oh, let me do one more thing, because I don't think I've really shown a really good view of like the side profile and stuff. But really nice, knocked down, just super smooth to the touch. Now that's probably one thing you could, if there's one criticism on here, for me, there's no jimping on here, which is interesting. Now you don't get the impression that you want it. I didn't like quickly go, oh man, this is gonna get sketchy in my hand. And maybe that's part of why they give you this thumb slot kind of looking thing here, to make it so you don't need it, and finger slot. I mean, that's really nice, right? That's a really cool design, actually. Man, for those draw cuts. But yeah, let me get zoomed in a little bit here, or focused rather. I just want to show the carbon fiber lines there. Get it more in the middle of the camera. And just some of those details on the sides as well. Got like maybe a 35%, maybe even like a 30% lock up there. It's just sweet. All right, zooming back out here, do a couple quick cuts with it on paper and just see how that factory edge is, because this is like a totally unknown manufacturer here. It's good. A little bitey. There's a little bite to it. Like here's my daily driver that's got a lot of use on it, and it goes through smoother. So it does have a bit of a bitey edge on it, actually. Let me see if I can find something. This is probably my sliciest knife, and I never use this thing, the Spyderco by comparison. It goes through way easier. So, you know, it's a bit of a thick blade, but it's also like a little bit of a bitey edge on it. So that's interesting. That's probably the only one of two things I'd say about it. Now you can always sharpen your knife however you want it. That's not super important to me, although it is for many people. Maybe if you don't sharpen your knives, you know, that'd be a consideration, is that knife edge is a little different than what I'm used to with some of the other manufacturers. It's a little less slicey feeling than some of the others. It is a little more bitey, which you might also like. But let me see if I can feel that now. I mean, it feels glass smooth on my fingernails, so that's interesting. But that's interesting. Maybe just not the thinnest behind the edge. It's not bad behind the edge. It's a little thicker behind the edge, maybe. Take a look here and see if I can focus on it. Maybe a little thicker behind the edge than some of the others. But yeah, I think you can figure that out for sure. Ooh. Awesome knife, super cool. Divo Knives, don't even know who they are, but Urban EDC did a great job on making these available. I think they generally do a really good job on finding super cool stuff. Again, the pouch, like the money's worth is here. To me, this is a expensive knife at $300, but like worth the money. That would be my quick impression of it. Expensive, but worth it would be my take. I just realized this, I think, came in the box. So let me try and get that back in there real quick. Just give you one final view of this one. And then I'll be doing another video. I'll be doing multiple videos on these. I wasn't expecting to, honestly. I wasn't sure what to expect, to be honest. But this is definitely one of my favorite knives. They seem to generally be available too. I think I just saw them coming onto Blade HQ now. I think Blade HQ has them now too. And although it seems like the stonewashed sell out on Urban EDC quite readily, the blackwashed has always been available the last week since I found that website. They've been in stock. And on I think it was it DL2? No, I think it was Blade HQ. Pretty sure it was Blade HQ. You know, they seemed quite available. Let's do this. Boom. That's a nice little view there. Ooh, what a sweet knife. Cool. Well, it's cool to come across a new brand that I didn't really know about and get to really like. That does not happen super often for me, to be honest. This is the first thing that's really competed with Demko in a few months for me, so that's exciting. It's good. It's good to have competition and get fresh things and, you know, be reinvigorated like this. So great job, Divo Knives. Super excited for what you're doing here. And I think that's all for now. Highly recommended so far, and check it out. And I think I'll see you on the next one. Please like, subscribe, and take care.